All right, welcome. Okay. I was say I'm not hearing it. Nope. It's going to be a short meeting.
Tom Sackledge here.
Hi. Can he reply? Oh. Commissioner Sakovic, can you hear us?
I'm here. I can hear you.
Okay. We will get started. All right, welcome to the commission meeting for Utah County on April 19th, 2023. We like to start every one of these meetings with a prayer, reading, or thought, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Do we have any volunteers for the prayer, reading, or thought? Anybody for the Pledge of Allegiance? All right, we're going to have to start voluntolding people here. Okay, Alice will do the pledge. Commissioner Gordon,
Love to.
would you
Sure.
lead us in a prayer, reading, or thought?
Sure.
Thanks.
Yep. Our Father in heaven, we're thankful this Wednesday that we have the ability to meet in this building and grateful for the reasons that we are here. We're thankful for those that have helped to prepare these meetings and ask that we'll be able to make correct decisions that are the best for all of Utah County. We're so thankful for our first responders. Please bless those women and men that are sacrificing to keep us safe, and we're grateful for the moisture we've received. We pray that it'll come down slowly, and with thy hand, please bless that we'll be able to avoid flooding it if possible. We're so grateful for all those that are helping us in those preparations. Again, we're grateful for all that we have, and we say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Alice and Commissioner Gordon. We are going to start our meeting today with a public hearing to consider a petition to vacate a portion of a plat in Alberta town site. Do I have a motion to open that public hearing?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye. That
Aye.
passes 3-0. Right, we will be open to that. Commissioner Sakovic, if you wouldn't mind muting your phone between motions, that would be helpful because we can hear that through. Thank you for joining us from your trip in Washington, D.C. via phone, even though it was inconvenient. We appreciate that.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Ben Stanley from the County Attorney's Office. I was asked to give a brief introduction to this matter, just so that you might have some context if you need it. You may be familiar with this one, but the county received a request to vacate certain roads in a historic plat, the Alberta Town Site plat, a 1908 plat, that had a number of roads that were never built. There's a road out there called the Alberta Slant Road. We have 3 images, I think, that we may have that we can put up just so you can see this area. So as you hear the public comment, any of them, and we can just kind of scroll through the 3 that you have. But just by way of context, when a request comes in to vacate roads like this, one of the steps in the process is a public hearing. And so this is scheduled today for this public hearing, but the actual action won't be taken until probably the May 3rd meeting. And so there will be time to further refine your views on this. Right now, you're just hearing the public input on this question. This shows some of those roads that need to be vacated. And you see that angled road there is the Alberta Slant Road. So the request that has come from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, who owns a number of pieces of property out in this area, is to vacate these roads on this historic plat that were never built. Other departments, yeah, go ahead and show us the next one. Other departments in the county have some reservations, we will want to discuss this between now and the date that you'll actually have the opportunity to take formal action on it. But there are some parts of these roads that may make sense to retain so that we can do a realignment of that Alberta slant road. There may be some properties that need access that are only available through these roads. So there are still some open questions. We want the commission to be aware of that. I don't know if there's a way we can rotate this one 90 degrees. 2 more times, yeah. There you go. And then if you can enlarge that a little bit, this is the historic plat. It's just kind of interesting to see. This was a town site plat that was never built out in the Alberta area. But these roads, because there are dedicated roads, it causes some development challenges. And so we can vacate those if there's not some other reason to maintain those. And so what we have scheduled on the agenda today is to hear the public comment and hear from if there are members of the public that would like to give input on their thoughts and concerns about this proposal. So that's all the introduction I think you really need. Unless you have questions for me, I'm happy to answer questions. And Dale Ayers is here, he can answer questions. And we've got representatives from community development who may be able to give some insights as well. But if there are no questions, then that's just some background. We're not taking action today on this matter. We're just taking the public comment.
Thanks, Ben.
Anytime.
All right, do we have any public comment? Yeah, come up to the mic and just state your name for the record.
I have no questions for my part.
Thank you.
Wade Eva, I'm a resident of Alberta. I've done a plat amendment on my lot and they vacated half of the road and the alleyway in my piece. My question is this, why are they doing this just on the church property and not through the residential area there? Because there's still quite a few unvacated roads that would be county property that the people are using anyway. So that's my question, is why is that area of the residential area not being vacated also with these roads? Because now we'll have dead end roads that don't go anywhere.
Oh, that's
Like I
great.
said, I've already done mine and I've did the plat amendment on mine and I vacated half the road on each side of my property in the alleyway in order to get a building permit. Then I also had a question, if I was gonna section mine off a 1/4 acre, mine's 1 1/4 acres, it was originally 1 acre. So I gained 1/4 acre. But they tell me now I have to have a 1/2 acre after I did the plat amendment to be able to have a buildable lot. So that's one of my questions.
I think we can, if you can get with our community development folks afterwards, they could answer questions for you.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Wade.
All right, anyone else? All right, any other last call for public comment on that? Would you, yeah, come up.
Kent Jorgensen, I'm with Farmland Reserve. Just to respond quickly to the question there, Farmland Reserve requested this vacation on the property that we have out there in Alberta. This is all only on the property that is owned by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. No other areas there, but it was requested by Farmland Reserve to just clean up some areas that really we feel are unneeded. So.
Thank you. So I think basically to summarize that, it's why is it only this land? Because they're the only ones that asked. If other people wanted it, they could ask as well, just like, I think just like you did. So if others would like to as well, they could join and
Can I
ask.
also respond to that?
Yeah,
I'm also here with Farmland Reserve. We had a hearing on this a full year ago. And at that time, it was suggested by one of the commissioners, or maybe all of the commissioners, that the county go check with all of the other residents to see if anybody else wanted to join in on this type of a thing. As long as we're doing it, let's do it once and not do it piecemeal. And so that effort was done. Many efforts were made to contact the local people to see if anybody else wanted to have their land vacated, and the answer is no. We're the only ones, and so we're saying, okay, if there are any else that want to join in, fine, but nobody else wants to join in. That's
Can you tell us your
the
name?
rest of the answer. Thank you.
Can you tell us your name?
This is Elder Joseph Rust with the Farmland Reserve.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's very helpful. Thank you. Okay. Seeing no other public comment, can I have a motion to close public comment?
Second that motion.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, public comment is closed.
Aye.
Motion passed 3-0. Okay, we will now build our agenda, and we will look. Oh, wait, actually, nope, sorry, work session first. Let's turn the page. Work session, we have a work session for an update on the agricultural programs from the Utah Department of Agriculture and Food, and Commissioner Craig Butters and Deputy Commissioner Kelly Pearson are here. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. We appreciate the opportunity to be here with you today. Let's see, your regular, I just want to check on the amount of time that we have allocated so we can kind of tailor our presentation.
3 or 4 hours.
3 or 4 hours? Okay. You got it. You got it. We're prepared for that.
We will, however, cut you off at 15 to 20 minutes.
Okay.
I think
All
that
right.
was the answer.
We'll condense as much as possible. We do have a slide presentation that we would like to pull up, and if you're, as has been mentioned, I'm Commissioner Craig Butters with the Utah Department of Agriculture and Food. With me here today is my deputy, Kelly Pearson, and also our Legislative and Government Affairs Director, Amber Brown. And we also have Matt Hargreaves here with the Utah Farm Bureau, and many of you are probably familiar with Matt. But the Department of Agriculture and Food is one of the state's oldest agencies. We began in 1896 as the Board of Horticulture, the State Board of Horticulture, and in 1921, we were combined with other agencies to become the Utah Department of Agriculture. Let's see, you got the clicker? Okay. So what we do, the Department of Agriculture and Food is responsible for the administration of Utah's agricultural laws, and these laws mandate a wide variety of responsibilities. You can see there on the right, everything from general stewardship for agriculture to marketing, economic development, and pest and disease control, inspection of food products, both marketing or market products and retail, and we take care of rulemaking, we do loan assistance, all those things. So our divisions that we have in the office are the Office of Commissioner, of course. That is our office. We have administrative services that oversees our financial responsibilities and making sure that the department is running according to how we should be. We also have an animal industry division, a plant industry division, conservation, and our newest division is the Grazing Improvement Program. We have a lab that does analytics on not only food products but also our medical cannabis and industrial hemp program. They do testing for that program. And we also have marketing, economic development, and regulatory services. Kelly is going to talk about our strategic goals.
Thanks, Commissioners, for having us today, and appreciate being down in Utah County. And when Commissioner Butters came on board, we wanted to really revamp the Department of Ag, and we decided to do a strategic plan. We wanted to know what our agency's goals were for the next 5 to 10 years, and the way we did this was we went throughout the state and had a tour and met in every region with elected officials, ag producers, and other stakeholders to really see what their vision was for agriculture in their areas and see what they saw the future of agriculture. We did a SWOT analysis of some of the strengths and weaknesses in the area and what they would like to see more. And this helped us come up with some goals for the next 5 to 10 years, and we'd like to share them with you. And the first one we call agristructure. Agristructure is your food and meat processing. Most of you might know that if you wanted to get your cow butchered or harvested right now, you're a year and a half out, and that's uncalled for. It's very hard on the producers to have to be able to feed their cattle for another year and a half before it's butchered. They can't afford to do it. And this really came to light during COVID and with the drought, and also because people want to start sharing their beef, selling their beef locally, so they've started butchering locally as well. And and we'll talk about later in the presentation of how we're going to accomplish these goals and the programs we'd love for you to share with your constituents to help agriculture workforce. Right now, the average age of an ag producer is 65 years old. We got to find ways to get more people, younger people, into this industry, and the only way we can do that is make it profitable for them, make it something that they want to do. And so our agency is trying to find better ways to make it profitable, working with our federal partners to try to help commodity prices, as well as trying not to over-regulate ag producers so much that they don't want to get into the industry. Ag land preservation, this is a big one for Utah County. It was amazing, even in the rural areas. This is something that's on everyone's mind, is how are we going to preserve the best ag land in the state? And some areas we've already missed that boat. Commissioner and I went to Israel and studied their water systems, but it was interesting to see how they built in the hills and left the ag land alone. And I think we've kind of done the opposite here in Utah, and we're going to regret it. But there is still opportunities to preserve good ag land, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. The food supply chain. It was scary during COVID to go to the grocery store and see the grocery stores empty. But it also brought to light how important food is and agriculture is. And so we're finding ways to have the state of Utah be more self-reliant. Obviously, we can't grow everything here in Utah that we consume, but we're trying to find better ways to grow crops and diversify our crops to be able to provide more to our local people as well as to local grocery stores. Ag education. We continue to work with Farm Bureau and Ag in the Classroom programs to really educate the youth of how important agriculture is. It's sad to say that if I go to my own house, my kids will probably think it grows in the grocery store. And we have to teach the youth that that's not true, that agriculture is very important, and that's the future of our food. We also are trying to find programs of other ways for people to get into the ag industry. Last session, we helped the Utah State get a vet school, and there is a huge shortage of vets throughout the state of Utah. And with this vet school, we're excited that maybe that will help fix that problem. This session, we got $2.5 million for a vet loan repayment program. So if someone wants to go in to become a vet and work in a rural area for 5 years, we'll repay their loan up to $100,000. So these are kind of the things we're working on to help fix some of the issues we're seeing in the state of Utah.
Are those just for veterinarians, or are they for vet techs as well?
Just vets, yeah. Yep. Customer service. We have a lot of Department of Ag employees that work here in Utah County, and we want to make sure that they're providing the best customer service to our ag producers. We want them to be a partner. We play two roles at the Department of Ag. We promote, but we also regulate. So we're the good cop, bad cop, and we want to make sure that our employees are more a partner with them and not blindside them with any citations or regulations that they're not aware of. And help train them. So if you hear of any employees that aren't that partner, we want to hear about it, because we are continually to work on our customer service with our employees.
So I'm just going to quickly cover some of the benefits of agriculture in Utah, and some of these are obvious, some of them might not be quite so obvious, but agriculture provides food and fiber for our citizens, and also animal feed for animals. It strengthens our local food security, as Kelly has mentioned. The more localized your food production is, the more your food security is going to be assured. And so agriculture also creates many jobs in rural areas, and I'm sure in the rural part of Utah County here. We have conservation and open space preservation through agriculture. Large agriculture is a large economic driver for many rural areas and provides water and resources for wildlife. So at a glance here, for Utah County, this is information that is specific to your county. The market value of your ag products sold is over $202 million on an annual basis, and this information comes from 2017 USDA NASS information. So there are 2,589 farms. The acres in farmland is 303,795. The average farm size 117 acres, and the acres irrigated 72,669. And as pretty much statewide and even nationwide, about 95% of farms in your county and in the state are still family-owned farms. Crops account for 39% of your market value, and livestock 61%. As far as agricultural rankings, you rank first in the state in nursery, greenhouse, floriculture, and sod, first in fruit, tree nuts, and berries, first in other animal products, and first in horses, ponies, mules, burros, and donkeys. And so donkeys probably does not include members of the Democratic Party. But
We would be low on that list.
it would be a little lower there. Yeah, I won't get into that. Total crops, you're second in total crops, and so as you can see, they're number one in many areas of agriculture production in the state. The market value of ag products sold there is 122 million in total livestock sales, 79, almost 80 million in total crop sales, and over 60 million in milk from cows that's sold. So, and then you can see there your top crops in acres. So we're going to talk about just 4 of our different programs. We've got a couple of videos to show with these programs, and so we'll go ahead and we'll cover these programs and pull up the videos as they come.
So, like I said, we had our strategic goals, and these are some of the programs that we have established to help reach those goals. Last session, 2 sessions ago, we got a Utah Food Security Processing Grant. This was a pilot program that we got $1 million one time to allow processors to do more. Whatever helped them to do more, new equipment, refrigeration, add on to their building, little things to make them do more, that was eligible for the grant. And we got 79 applicants with 14 million in requests for that $1 million. So we asked for a lot more. This was just a pilot program. We hope to continue to fight more, but this map shows you some of the places that were awarded these grants. This session, we got another $1 million, and the application period will start May 1st and go until the end of May, and then the ranking committee will rank them in June and award the money in July. And we'll send an email to each one of you with all these programs so that you can share with your constituents, so you don't need to remind, but we want your help sharing the word. So this is a great program that will allow processors to do more, and we'll continue to fight for more funding for that program.
Is this separate from the grants that were available to increase the supply for meat processing?
It's the same one.
It's the same one.
Was it right? Yeah, it would have been the same one. And we'll talk about water optimization, but we'll share the video first.
Mother Nature is an extremely hard taskmaster. The hardest boss that anybody could ever have, because there's no mercy. Probably half of my time is spent trying to use the water as efficiently as possible. Lose a few $100,000 year after year, you know, it's a tough goal.
We've had more dry years than we've had wet years, and I think that's become the norm. The land is drier, the rangeland is drier,
springs that we could usually count on being there are drying up. So it's a scary time.
The department right now is in the process of working through our agricultural water optimization program, and this is a way that we can help farmers and ranchers use their water more efficiently. If the opportunity is presented, farmers and ranchers want to do better with the resources that they have.
They're reaching out to producers, they're reaching out to other individuals saying, hey, look, here's what we're up against, here's what we're facing. How can we overcome this? The Department of Ag is always there backing you up.
Change and conservation and best practices are changing and evolving, and I am very willing to evolve with them. With the help of UDAF and NRCS, we've been able to adapt those practices more quickly.
With the limited availability of water, by increasing the efficiency, even in these drought years, we may be able to farm nearly all of our acres. And so without some help from the state, I wouldn't be able to do this.
No one knows better than us the finite resources that we have here. So I don't think there's anyone that could care more about the land and its health and the balance than the people that are living on it and working on it. It's the lifeblood. We all understand that water is our lifeblood. We do our best to conserve it and to use it wisely, because without it, we're nothing.
So just a little bit of information about our water optimization program. This program began in 2019 with a $3 million appropriation from the legislature. Since that time, we received another $3 million in 2021, and there was a $70 million appropriation made in 2022 legislative session. And so during those, since 2019, we've had over $50 million used and spent across 276 projects. That projected water savings on those projects is 172,000, almost 173,000 acre feet annually. So the current round of funding just opened for mid-April, so we'd encourage you to talk to your farmers and ranchers about applying for this money that can help them to save water and use their water more efficiently. Another program that we've got, and you should have some information on this, is the Ag Stress Assistant Program. We have partnered with Utah State University and their Ag Wellness Program to provide a voucher, a $2,000 voucher for farmers and ranchers and their families who may be experiencing difficulties because of industry conditions, different problems that they are going through. So their family, farmers and ranchers and their families, can use this for free mental health care, and also the things that we're involved with in this Ag Stress Assistance Program is training for producers on how they can help community members to seek the help that they need, how they can recognize those who are experiencing mental health crises, and how they can get the help that they need. So we're also helping to train the 988 crisis line responders statewide. So this next video is talking about our Leroy McAllister Working Farm and Ranch Protection Fund.
The preservation of ag land is very important. As we go and look at the acreage that is being developed right now, much of it is acreage that I never thought I would see developed in my lifetime. A lot of farmers go out there and they talk about the development, and they say, you know, those houses are the last crop that is ever going to be planted out there on that property.
When you have a place that has importance like this, you kind of want to have it last, and conservation easements are the way to do it.
conservation easement is essentially an agreement between a private landowner and a nonprofit or a state or a federal agency to limit the amount of development that takes place on a piece of property. Essentially what you're doing is you are purchasing the rights to develop on that piece of property.
Working with the state and with the Nature Conservancy with our easement, we're really helping to protect a massive area of land that's critical for winter range, for migratory corridors, and it's really a special thing to know, my kid can come back after I'm gone and be like, oh wow, this is still the same, it still looks the same.
There isn't an inch on my either side that I haven't gathered the rock up, turned over the soil, so instead of being an investment, it now becomes part of my soul.
The protection of land utilized for agricultural production is one of the major goals that we have at the Department of Agriculture and Food. And if we go in and preserve that land and we utilize it for the production of food and for other resources, we become sustainable as a state.
Deciding to do a conservation easement on our ground was kind of a tough decision. I mean, we looked at it and, the money situation is very different from whether you sell your ground or whether you put it into a conservation easement. And at the end of the day, we had to kind of look ourselves in the mirror and say, what's more important, our heritage, who we are, what we love doing, or money? And ultimately we decided that, it was worth the sacrifice to give up a little bit to be able to have the opportunity to do what we love.
Even people in the community. As they come, they know now that this property is going to remain open, that it will never be built on, and what a great legacy to leave our community.
So, like I said, one of our goals was ag land preservation. The Lee Ray McAllister Fund's been at the state since, I believe, 1992. But the 2 sessions ago, they moved it to the Department of Ag and also gave us 3 full-time employees to help administer this program. And this shows you how serious we want to take this. We did get $3 million one-time funding this session to be seed money to help match NRCS funds. Over the history, you saw in the video, they've been able to take $20 million and match it with $100 million of federal funds. This session, House Bill 371 was passed, and this bill, if there's rollback taxes within your county, if someone buys ag land and has to pay that rollback taxes, 20% of that needs to go towards a conservation easement. And I'm not sure if you're set up to do conservation easements as a county, but we hope that you'll work with us as the Department of Ag. We'll make sure the employees of that program get in front of you, or whoever they need to get in front of, to help you find ways to use that 20% if you want, and help use your funds to match our funds, and we go match federal funds with that. But we're excited about this program. Again, it's totally volunteer program. It again buys the building rights off that land, and it will stay ag land forever. They maintain ownership, and if they sell the land, it will still be sold as ag land going forward. So this is a great program. Do you have any questions about this program? No? Great. But we'll make sure these employees get in front of you on that.
Yeah, I know we've had people approach us about conservation easements, but we haven't helped them as a county yet. But we have had people start the discussions.
And even if it goes through our program and it's an easement within Utah County, we have to come and ask for your approval to make it a conservation easement. So you'll see things that go through our program as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And just as a note, we do have we have had projects here in Utah County for ag conservation easements, and some of them out by the lake. And as far as takeaways today, we appreciate the time we've been able to spend with you. We recognize that there are a lot of things happening in Utah Valley and Utah County, and particularly a lot of growth, a lot of IT growth. And the numbers that we've talked about here are probably not, they probably pale in comparison to, a lot of the IT growth and the industry that comes to the county that way. But I think one of the things that makes your quality of life what it is agriculture and open space. And agriculture puts food on the table, and we hope that you will be able to take a look at how you can help agriculture remain viable in Utah County. Encourage municipalities to pass laws and ordinances and zoning that will be favorable to agriculture. And we're here to help in any way that we can. Our website is ag.utah.gov, and we've given you some information there. So if you have any questions, we're happy to answer questions, but thanks again for your time today.
Can you send us this presentation,
Yes.
please?
We will send this presentation plus links for all of the different programs that we've discussed today.
Okay.
That way you can forward those on to any of the offices that you would like to, or your constituents. So
Thank you.
Absolutely.
very
Thank
much.
you so much.
Thank you.
And that's excellent information. Thank you.
All right, we will move on to to building our agenda. On items 1 through 10, I wanted to hold item number 7 just to highlight it. Do you have any addition?
I have no others.
All right, Commissioner Sackvich, do you have anything? Items 1 through 10.
No, I don't. All of them I've gone through, and I support all of those.
Okay, on items 11 through 20, I was going to hold item number 17 for information. Beyond that, do you have any, Commissioner Gordon?
None for me.
Commissioner Sackevich?
No, I'm just happy to see that item 17 there.
Yep, okay. And then 20 through 26, I was going to hold item 21. Any additional?
None for me.
Okay.
No.
And we have no closed session, so we'll strike items 27, 28, 29, and 30. All right, Alice, you want to repeat that back to us?
I have us holding agenda items number 7, 17, 21, and as far as closed sessions, they're all stricken.
Fantastic.
I don't think we need to hold 17. I think.
No, I wanted to highlight 17. I wanted to hold it to highlight it.
Okay. Sorry, I thought.
We'll do it real quick.
I thought that was one that Tom said. I'm just happy to see it on there.
No, we're
Okay.
good.
Holding 17 then. I apologize.
You broke up. What was it?
No, we just wanted to make sure, Commissioner Gordon just wanted to make sure that we were going to look at number 17. So I think we're good there. All right, we will start with item number 7. I wasn't going to hold this one originally, but considering the work session we just had, I thought I would highlight that we are adopting a resolution to approve for a contribution to the National Association of Counties National Center for Public Lands. And this is a donation that most of the counties west of Colorado are putting a donation to create a center for public lands, for education for public lands. And one of the major things that we'll be working on is educating folks east of Colorado where their food comes from and helping them realize that we graze those cows on that public land and that it's imperative to keep those lands open for grazing. So that's a part of that a lot of the grazing that happens for not only cattle, but also for sheep in our county, a lot of that happens on federally owned land with grazing rights. And a lot of people in the East, when they hear federal lands, they think of arches. And the idea that there are millions of acres of sagebrush that is used for grazing does not even occur to them. So we will be putting a small donation, as well as most of the counties in Utah, Idaho, Wyoming, Montana, et cetera. We'll be putting a donation to create an education center with the National Association of Counties for the purpose of educating folks about the importance of keeping those access to those public lands. And one of those most critical areas is for grazing. Do you have any thoughts on that, Commissioner Gordon? You want to add to that at all?
For me.
All right, Commissioner Sackevich?
No, this is a long past due, something that we have talked about for some time. So I'm happy to make a motion that we adopt agenda number 7.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye? Okay.
Aye.
And then can we circle back to item 8, please? Sorry. I know we didn't approve the consent agenda anyway, but
Oh, yeah.
do we want to table that or just hold it? We'd like to just hold it for 1 week. So table it. Okay, so can we table item 8? We're just still waiting on federal guidance on it.
Continuing.
Continue, excuse me.
So we can continue 1 week.
Continue item 8. Waiting for federal guidance.
Okay.
So is that a motion?
Yeah.
That's a motion.
I'm sorry. I'll second that motion.
Do you want, well, I think it's 2 weeks because do we have a meeting next week? It would be 2 weeks.
May 2nd. Yeah.
May
3rd.
Excuse me. 3rd.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to continue item number 8 till May 3rd. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, that passed 3-0.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, item number 17 is approve and authorize the signing of a resolution proclaiming the month of April as Donate Life Month in Utah County. This resolution was actually brought to us by one of our employees, Robert Baxter. Did you want to speak to this at all?
Sure. Just briefly, this is something that's a little bit near and dear to my heart. My younger sister passed away in June of 2021, unexpectedly and suddenly. She was a social worker, worked for Primary Children's Hospital for many years as a trauma counselor, and touched the lives of a lot of people. So it really didn't come as a big surprise to me when she passed away that I discovered that she was an organ and tissue donor. And I'm proud of my sister for making that gift of life for others. 3 months after she passed away, my older brother passed away. He was a different kind of a character. He was a loving soul. Had a real love for science, and particularly the manned space program. As a high school boy, he took on the cause to create United States Space Week. So he wrote to all the politicians and contractors he could think of to get support. And over time, he managed to get all 50 governors and 3 or 4 presidents to sign proclamations for this. What's unusual about that is if you knew David, he had some pretty significant mental and emotional challenges. He had no filters. He was kind of a Rain Man kind of a guy. And so by the time he passed away, he had no money, had no assets. But that didn't stop him from giving the gift of life, from being an organ donor. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be around, but whether it's 30 years or 30 days, I'm an organ donor. And if there's anything left of me when my time comes, I hope they're able to make the most of it and be able to give the gift of life to others. So I just want to do a little shout out to those of you who are not organ donors to give that some thought next time you're renewing your driver's license, to check that box, to become an organ donor. Let's shorten that list of people who are waiting, and some dying, waiting for organs.
All right, thank you. I don't know if you knew this, but my brother was actually just put on an organ donor list. So he's one of those that's waiting for a kidney that hopefully the kidney gets here before his time passes. He's in stage 5 renal failure and was just added to the waiting list for a kidney. So thank you to your family members for donating.
I don't know if the Mark Dixon from Donor Connect, I think, is on Zoom with us. If he's there, if he's willing to say a word or two. Are you there, Mark?
Yes, I am. Are you able to hear me?
We are.
Great. First of all, I really appreciate the Utah County Commission allowing me to say a few words, and for the words that Robert Baxter shared with everybody. In 2004, an organization called Donate Life America actually established nationwide Donate Life Month as being the month of April. And so locally in Utah, Donor Connect, we are what's called an OPO, an organ procurement organization. And so we facilitate organ recovery as well as transplant services throughout the state of Utah. And we kind of work in the background. There's not a lot of people that know what an organ procurement organization is. But our mission is not only to do the clinical work of organ recovery and transportation of organs, eye, and tissue to those that are in need, but it's also to facilitate public education and public awareness and encourage people to sign up for the Yes Utah Organ Registry. And so you mentioned, Commissioner, that you have a close family member that is on that wait list. Nationwide, there are about 108,000 people who are awaiting life-saving organ, eye, and tissue transplants. And in Utah, that number is about 800 persons. And so the more people whom we can encourage to be part of the organ donor registry by doing what Robert has done and just saying yes when they get a driver's license and having that be on their driver license, the bigger impact we're able to have on those that are awaiting the gift of life. So thank you very, very much. I appreciate being able to say a few words and to endorse what Robert has shared with you.
Fantastic. Thank you for your input there. All right, I'll take a motion on item number 17.
Motion to approve item 17.
I will second item number 17.
All right, all in favor, please say aye.
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 That passes 3-0. Thank you. All right, moving on to item number 21. Approve and authorize the commission's signature on a resolution appointing an interim replacement for the Utah County Assessor. So we are honored and happy to accept an appointment from the Utah County Republican Party that they have nominated Bert Garfield to fill the role of assessor until the next general election next year. That position will be on the ballot again, but Bert holds that position until January of 2025. Do you want to come and say a few words for us, Bert? As he makes his way up here, Bert, 17 years with the county, so he's not new to us, but new to this position. We're excited to accept the nomination from the Republican Party, and immediately following this meeting, we will sign a resolution appointing you to that position, and we'll swear you in. But I wanted you to have the opportunity to say a few words in the public meeting.
Thank you. Yeah, my name's Bert Garfield. Thank you for all the support that I've received. When Chris told me he was going to resign, I really stopped to think, what should we do? Because I already had a job. Do I really want to be the county assessor? And I was talking to Chris, and I said, what do you think? I'm thinking about running. And he says, I hope you do. And so I kind of talked to the people in the office, and they all gave me a look like, we want you to run. And I said, I don't know if I can do this on my own. And they said, oh, we'll help you. We'll be there for you. I couldn't have done it without their support. It's kind of interesting, just to correct what you said, I've been an appraiser for 17 years, but I've been here in the office for 12. But when I first started, it was in 2010. And I met Chris. I just sent him a letter. It said, my real estate business in appraising has basically died because of the bubble of 2008. And I said, I'm thinking with my background, I might be good for the assessor's office. And Chris said, call me. He said, let's meet. We met. And he said, how about I hire you part-time? You just work part-time. He sat me in this corner right next to the printer. I had like 3 feet side by side. I was just stuck in the corner, and I thought, okay, here we go. And then within 2010, by 2015, I was the chief deputy assessor. Then I served as the chief deputy assessor for 7 years. But it's been wild. It's been wild. But I appreciate everyone's support. Appreciate the support of the staff members that wanted me to run. That was half the reason I ran, was they wanted me to run. So, and I appreciate my wife. It was interesting. It was a fast and furious campaign. We only had a few weeks from the time he resigned to the time of the thing. And I thought, every time I looked at my wife, I'm like, here we go again. And she was going to town hall meetings and everything with me. So that was special to me. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Running for public office, as we well know, is not for the faint of heart. So you took it. It takes a lot of courage, and we appreciate you willing to step up into public service. So
I warmly welcome Bert on board.
Right. Can I get a motion to approve item 21?
So
I can motion to approve and adopt item number 21. Warmly, yes.
second.
All right. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 It's unanimous. All right. We will sign that resolution immediately following this meeting and swear Bert in as the new county assessor. That brings us to the end of our regular agenda. Do we have any public comment? All right, seeing none, I will entertain a final motion.
Motion to adjourn.
I second that motion.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. We are adjourned.
Aye. Thanks, everyone.